If someone had told the morning staff at Rivergate National Bank that the quiet, black woman in a gray blazer was their new boss's boss, they would have laughed. And maybe that was the cruelest part, because for 10 minutes straight, they treated her like she didn't exist. Her name was Dr. Sienna Monroe, and by the time she stepped through the bank's revolving doors that morning, she controlled more assets than the entire branch combined. But none of them knew that. Sienna paused just inside the entrance, taking in the marble floors, the hush of money, the laminated posters about equal opportunity banking taped to the glass walls. She had been scheduled to meet the regional manager at 10:30 a.m. about the bank's renewal contract with her company, Monroe Holdings, a multi-billion-dollar logistics and real estate firm that had partnered with this bank for over a decade. She checked her watch. 10:17 a.m. Plenty of time. She approached the front counter, portfolio in hand, calm and professional. "Good morning," she said politely. "I have an appointment with Mr. Hargrove." The teller, a young white woman with long acrylic nails, didn't even look up. She kept typing for a moment before sighing. "Fill out a ticket and wait your turn," she muttered. Sienna blinked but kept her composure. "I don't think that will be necessary. My appointment was scheduled in advance. He should be expecting me." That finally got the teller's attention. One slow, unimpressed glance over Sienna's body. Her eyes lingered slightly too long on the simple blazer. The natural curls pulled into a neat puff. The unbranded leather purse. "He's in a meeting," the teller replied. "And he doesn't take walk-ins." "I'm not a walk-in," Sienna said gently. "I'm Dr. Monroe." The teller gave a small laugh, the kind that stung more than a slap. "Right, I'm sure. If you're here about a loan, there's a different desk for that." She pointed vaguely toward the back of the bank. Without even lifting her hand, Sienna stayed rooted in place. "I assure you I'm not here for a loan." A security guard standing nearby finally turned, giving Sienna a slow once-over as if measuring how much trouble she might be. "Ma'am," he said, "you're holding up the line. You either take a number or step aside." A few customers in line glanced up, some curious, some annoyed. No one spoke up. Sienna looked around the room, the surveillance cameras, the pamphlets, the smugness, and something hardened in her chest. "Fine," she said quietly. "I'll wait." She took a seat near the window and pulled out her phone. One text, 4 words, "I've arrived, observing." The reply came back less than a minute later. "Understood, proceed." Minutes ticked by. A white couple walked in after her. They were greeted with wide smiles and offered bottled water. An older businessman was escorted personally toward an office. Sienna was invisible, right up until 10:29 a.m. The glass doors at the front of the bank swung open again, but this time the mood changed instantly. 2 men in tailored suits stepped in first, then a woman with an executive badge, then another. And at the center of them all, Mr. Leonard Hargrove, the regional manager himself. If you're still watching, subscribe and turn on post notifications. The same man who had claimed he was in a meeting. The entire branch straightened. The tellers froze. The manager rushed forward, all nerves and smiles. "Good morning, welcome. We weren't expecting—" Hargrove's excited greeting stopped mid-sentence as his eyes locked on Sienna, sitting calmly by the window. He went pale. "Sienna," he whispered. She stood. And suddenly, how they had looked at her before didn't matter anymore. "Dr. Monroe," she corrected calmly. "You're 3 minutes early for our meeting. I appreciate the punctuality." Mouths dropped open. The teller who had ignored her went stiff as a mannequin. The guard stared at the floor. Sienna stepped forward, heels quiet but dominant on the marble. "Allow me to introduce myself to those who felt I didn't exist 10 minutes ago." She turned in a slow circle, making eye contact with every employee. "I am the majority shareholder and acting CEO of Monroe Holdings. As of last quarter, Rivergate National Bank holds my company's primary operating accounts. Silence, total, crushing. Which means," she continued evenly, "every dollar that passes through this branch, you process because of my signature." She turned back to Mr. Hargrove. "And since respect is apparently selective in your establishment, I took the liberty of reevaluating our partnership. While I was waiting," he swallowed hard. "Dr. Monroe, please. This must be a misunderstanding." She pulled a printed document from her file. It's not. Effective immediately. Monroe Holdings is terminating all contracts with this branch. Accounts will be transferred to Midtown Central by close of business. Gasps rippled across the room. This branch's revenue will drop by 72%. Overnight. The bank manager staggered slightly. And as for the staff, she added, those who stood by and said nothing while discrimination happened in real time. Your silence has spoken for you. Her eyes cut to the teller. You are dismissed, she said coolly. Effective immediately. Then the guard. And you may remove your uniform. You no longer represent security in a building that failed to offer basic human decency. He didn't argue. No one did. Sienna finally looked around the room one last time, her voice firm but controlled. This is not revenge. This is accountability. And today, your customer is your consequence. She turned toward the doors as stunned silence followed her path. Just before stepping out, she paused and glanced back once more. Then she walked out, leaving behind a broken system and the echo of her heels, the only sound stronger than the shame now filling the bank.